No.
Will there be an effort that we can take a look at that just to see how we compare, just in order to be even more fiscally prudent and responsible and conservative, and rigorously manage our contract amendments and scope creeps and cost creep?
I'm not sure that follows from what the action is that's requested here, but do you know anecdotally what any other district's thresholds are?
I
believe she answered no.
I do not know what other districts are. What I do know is that the $175,000 falls within the CUPCA guidelines that require us to go out to bid. And so that was where the $175,000 threshold came from, is in accordance with the CUPCA guidelines. So what this is doing is authorizing myself, or in my absence, a designee, to sign any contracts up to $175,000. As the board knows, all contracts come back to the board for ratification, and they, in essence, aren't completely valid until the board ratifies them.
Yeah, but we all know that that's there's not a lot of detail. It's just one line item with the cost and if we're lucky, we're going to get the project description in detail of how it was awarded, what was the competitive process, if any, that was followed. I have concern with setting a limit this high, both with this and the change orders. I brought it up last year. It seems like it fell on ears that were not necessarily listening to intently. But then again, I recognize I'm one board member, and it's the desire of the board. So if we could just look at an estimate or an analysis of what other districts do, I'd like to think we're a very fiscally prudent organization, and I've seen that. So it would be nice to see how we compare and how we can improve even more as far as rigorously managing these contracts and having better insight into them.
Any other comments or questions? Jeff?
My simple question was why this item had come forward, because it's correct me if I'm wrong, it's always been $175,000. So we just
it's been $175,000 since we adopted CUPCA.
Which
I will say, Trustee Zia, as you were talking, I do recall that there is one district in San Luis Obispo that they have no limit. And so all contracts come back to the board for ratification. There is not a limit. So that was just,
Yeah, but
as you were talking, there is one example of a district with no limit.
Go through the chair. We're kind of trying
Okay.
move this on. Go
Okay,
ahead.
may I respond?
Sure.
I love the arguments, the counter arguments, and I see this in political discussions. There's just one exception that we find, and we key in on it. We're better than that, I think, where we could, just because there's one district that does it a certain way, doesn't make it right, or just because we've done it before for umpteenth years and eons. I recognize I haven't been here on this board as many years of a lot of our veteran members on the board. However, I invite us to think that there's always a better way. There's always room for us to improve and make enhancements. And I appreciate you bringing up that district example, Vice President Gable, so quickly. So I'm not picking on you or any members of your staff. I think you have a great and capable team, yourself included. I respect you a lot. I just would caution just doing things a certain way just because it's been the way we've always done it. I keep hearing this, and it's just getting a little old. That's all.
I don't think that's what she said.
No, that's what Trustee Kellogg was saying, and that's why I wanted to express that. I don't think it's it's not necessarily the best for our district to have that mode of operation, and that we've always done it this way. So why is this coming to the board? It is our fiduciary duty to the public.
Any other comments or questions?
And I don't know how my words got changed around. I asked a simple question. Was this something we did previously 175, and my point was, I was just curious why it was coming back to us if there was really no change to it. That was my point, not it's the way we've been doing it. It has been 175. Was there a reason we brought it back before us again?
Okay.
The Los Angeles County Office of Education requires that we do these resolutions every single year. It's the only county that I know requires this resolution every year. Other ones do not. You do it once, and that's it.
Thank you. That
Any
was my
other,
question.
any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Irma Archuleta?
Aye.
Virginia Baxter?
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg?
Aye.
Doug Otto?
Aye.
Sunny Zia?
Nay.
9.9, resolution disposal of district property with a collected value of under $5,000. This is an action item, and the recommended action is that the Board of Trustees adopt a resolution to authorize the Director of Business Support Services or designee to dispose of district property as submitted, in other words, under $5,000. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Archuleta.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Kellogg. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to see if we're going to get a summary of the cumulative value of all these properties. Is that something that will be presented to the board for approval, or is it handled differently for the disposal of property?
I mean, I think what the item says is that
It's a resolution.
the Ed Code provides, it requires submission of a resolution annually by the end of the current fiscal year. Items with a collective value that exceed $5,000 will be brought before the board for approval prior to disposition. That doesn't mean, I mean, but if it's under $5,000, it will not be brought to the board. Is that right? Do we have a policy of how
Correct.
we list them?
That's what this resolution is authorizing. If the value is less than $5,000, then we can dispose of it without it coming to the board. If there's any monetary value to it, then we do collect those revenues, and you would see that in the budget under the other sources.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
So is there a report that we get? Is it cumulative, or is it per? It seems like it's per property.
You know, could you define property too?
By item of property?
Yeah.
These are chairs, tables,
It's not.
it's, you know, things that no longer really have a value, old computers.
I see. Yeah. Thank you. That answers my.
Any further questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Irma Archuleta?
Aye.
Virginia Baxter?
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg? Aye. Doug Otto?
Aye.
Sunny Zia?
Aye.
Carries unanimously. 9.10, resolution change order authorization under $100,000. The recommended action is that the Board of Trustees adopt a resolution to authorize the Vice President of Administrative Services or a designee to execute change orders under $100,000 as submitted. I entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Archuleta. Is there a second?
Second.
Who seconded that?
Kellogg.
Trustee Kellogg seconded. Discussion.
Yeah. Again, same question. I'd like to see what this number is based on, if it's comparable with other districts, and what's the best practice. I've seen this, having been involved in the agency domain for quite a long time, and I see this and it gets ratified, so the work gets authorized to the contractor. But if the board, it's really designed to be a rubber stamp. If the board doesn't approve it, the work has already been authorized, and we're going to end up being put in a position to ratify it anyway because the work has already been authorized. And that's where I struggle with this. I think we could do a lower dollar threshold. I've had community members who have expressed their concerns with it, and because I need to be sensitive to that, and I certainly agree with them. I think it's a pretty high value, and it would be nice to see how we compare to other districts, and do a little bit more of a rigorous look at that.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Roll call vote.
Irma Archuleta?
Aye.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
Sunny Zia.
Nay.
Okay. 911, resolution agreement with California Department of Education for childcare. The recommended action is that the Board of Trustees adopt a resolution authorizing the district to enter into a grant agreement with the California Department of Education as submitted.
So moved.
Okay, moved by trustee Zia. Is there a
Second.
second by trustee Baxter. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Irma Archuleta.
Aye.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg. Doug Otto. I'm sorry. It's not pressing when I'm saying the name. Doug Otto
Aye.
and Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Okay, 9.12, final project proposal and initial project proposals. This is an action item. The recommended action is that the Board of Trustees approve the final project proposal for LAC Buildings G and H and the initial project proposals for LAC Building B renovation, PCC Classroom Building, and PCC Construction Trades 2 as submitted.
So
Entertain a
moved.
motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Zia and Archuleta. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Why is anthropology, where's Adrian when we need him, with horticulture?
Retired.
It's actually the underwater archaeology.
Oh, okay, that does. But wouldn't the underwater archaeology go more with the electrical? Because,
I think that's electrocution.
well, yeah, okay. Okay, I'm sorry I laughed. Okay.
There won't be room in RR or QQ, so since this is a program that is developing, we were planning on trying to put the needs of the program in the MM building.
I just thought it was interesting.
Any other comments, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Irma Archuleta.
Aye.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
And Sunny Zia.
Aye.
9.3, five-year construction plan for 2018 to 22. It's an action item. The recommended action is that the Board of Trustees approve the annual submission of the district's five-year construction plan for 2018 to 22 and authorize the superintendent president of the district to sign the formal documents that authorize action on behalf of the district as submitted.
So moved.
Okay.
Moved by trustee Zia, second by trustee Archuleta. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Irma Archuleta.
Aye.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Superintendent President, 10.1 revised Long Beach City College mission statement. It's an action item.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Kellogg, seconded by trustee Zia. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to just compliment and commend staff for doing this and rewording it. It adds a lot of strength and teeth to our mission. I failed to applaud Ava Bag earlier for the specific language, and I know it was a team effort, so I think it's fantastic that we're reframing it to be more focused.
Any other comments? It's an action item. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt the revised mission statement approved by the College Planning Committee as submitted.
So
Roll call
moved.
vote.
No, it's already been moved.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, it's late.
Yeah.
My turn. Irma Archuleta.
Aye.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Jeff Kellogg.
Aye.
Doug Otto.
Aye.
Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Okay, we're on to reports. 11.1.
One word.
Academic Senate President report.
I have no report.
Are you sure?
Positive.
I thought you were going to read from the Mahabharata.
Not.
Okay, 11.2 Superintendent President. We know he doesn't have any report. Student Trustee.
Go ahead.
Mr. O'Malley.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this brief. We have a couple of things coming up for our new incoming ASB cabinet. So traditionally, we invite the trustees out and hopefully some vice presidents out to come join us and really just speak with the students, student leaders that are going to be joining us next year. So I unfortunately don't have a date for you at the moment because we're still trying to figure out when everyone's available over the summer. Apparently, everyone's traveling or something. I mean, good for them, but I'll be here. So we're still trying to figure out dates. So sometime in late July is what we're looking into. Should get an email sometime this week,
We'll
this
be
end of
here
this
on
week.
July 28th, so if you want to work
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it.
We were thinking about having something on that Tuesday as well, that board meeting. So we'll figure something out. But just keep that on the radar. Hopefully you guys are available to come out and join us for just some quick lunch. Introduce yourselves to the new student leaders for next year.
Great.
And then I discussed it briefly earlier, but I was discussing with myself, I guess, about what I really want to do here at the college. And one thing that I want to do after I transfer is make sure that we have enough pathways for students when they transfer. So something I've been looking into, another project that I'm working on, is sort of working on the transfer, I guess. After you transfer, what really happens to students, we kind of just lose that connection. And I've been working with a couple student governments in a couple 4 years. So Cal State Long Beach right now specifically is what I'm working with, and making sure that they have a strong transfer reception for students, and making sure that the connection isn't lost for Long Beach City College, because we have a strong partnership with Cal State Long Beach. We want to make sure that all their students' needs are met. So that's another project we're working on. So definitely excited to see what that brings to students. But keeping it brief, I have class at 8 a.m., so I'm really excited for this meeting. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 11.4, Board of Trustees, Trustee Zia.
Yes, thank you, President Otto. I, too, will try to be brief. So a couple of great opportunities that I had the great privilege of being part of. On June 6th, we welcomed Secretary Hillary Clinton to the district. I have to say that it was fantastic to see us as the district come together and be put on the map. All the major networks covered us. I want to commend our staff. I know you guys worked, excuse me, I'm sorry, but it's hard to hear and speak when there's so much background noise and dialogue. Out of respect to the trustees, I think it'd be important to just maintain a little bit of calm. I think it was fantastic to see our staff work so hard. I mean, we were on the cover of all the major newspapers and also networks, so it was fantastic. It made me certainly really proud, especially seeing our logo behind the secretary and the presidential candidate. It was great to see Long Beach City College's logo. Made me very proud of us. And also special thanks to our superintendent for working hard on that effort. I wish all the trustees could be part of that. Unfortunately, there were other fortunately there were other dignitaries, but it would have been nice to have all the trustees represented and have them be part of it. I know there were some constraints about that, so it was definitely my loss to not have all of us as a unit there. And then on June 9th, we had commencement, so that was fantastic to see our students get their graduation on and walk. It was really great. Also missed trustees there, but it was great to see the students representing their communities and a lot of first-time graduates. We had a 60-year-old and a 16-year-old graduate. It was great. And then we also gave an honorary degree to Tim, and I'm probably butchering his last name, Gibralti. So it was really nice to see his excitement. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have, and concludes my report. Thank you.
Trustee Archuleta.
Yes, we would have loved to have been there as well. Right, Jenny?
Well, we were there, we just weren't in a certain part.
That's right.
We were in attendance.
You weren't fast enough.
Okay, so actually, in the interest of time, I'm going to make my report super short. But in a serious note, I want to just tell my board colleagues, the members of the diocese, and the Long Beach community that it has been a privilege and an honor to serve as a trustee on the LBCC board. And I want to thank my colleagues for selecting me and for giving me a chance to share my professional experience and an opportunity to represent my community. Being an educator, I look at every experience in life as a learning and growth opportunity. This has been a valuable experience which I will cherish. I am proud to have served with a team of professionals whose commitment to this institution and to the city of Long Beach is second to none. Thank you for allowing me to be part of the team and to contribute to making LBCC a flagship institution and a role model for the nation. Thank you. Gracias.
Trustee Baxter.
Yes, just if anyone wonders why I look like I'm asleep, I am asleep, because if I were in Washington DC, it would be 1:10 in the morning, but I'm here.
Jenny, we have to retract all your votes.
Okay. All right, things that I've done since our last meeting. We had the scholarship reception at which $1.1 million was given out in scholarships to our students. Then following that was the journalism banquet, and congratulations to Pat McKean and the students who do an outstanding job every day. Then the nursing completion ceremony was the night of our meeting. Then, and thank you to the voters for voting on Measure LB. We appreciate that very, very much. Then I also attended the CCA retiree recognition, and as I sat there and listened to all the people and all the people who were named tonight, I mean, think of the legacy that these people have made toward this institution and the historical knowledge of the institution, and I hope that they will stay involved and still participate in the college even though they're retiring, and I look forward to their participation. Also, I was in the LA Vets Walk supporting our student vets. We had 15 veteran students walking, and that was a great turnout for the first walk of this from the LA Vets. And then following that, I attended a meeting with Stacy Mungo in which she invited Alan Lowenthal, and our local representative, Senator Lara, was there, and to talk about what they're doing. Oh, and Patrick, some of them and Patrick O'Donnell, what they're doing and what could be done for the community. And I talked to a number of my constituents, and I appreciate Stacy Mungo inviting me to participate in any kind of public meetings that she has, and we have a very good relationship. So, thank you. And the reason I probably wasn't very clear, but I left to Washington, D.C. this morning so I could be at the meeting tonight.
So you qualify as coming from the farthest, I think.
That's right. Yes.
Trustee Kellogg.
Thank you, Trustee Otto. It's been a wonderful last 30 days with all the activities going on here at the college, a lot of the achievements, recognitions, events we had, and as my colleagues have mentioned, we attend so many of those, but it's actually very exciting to go to those, and I'm not going to duplicate or repeat what I've heard from my colleagues, but almost every one of them we've all attended or tried to. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to our graduation because I was at a family graduation out of state that particular night, but graduation ceremonies are always really exciting, and the one here at Long Beach City College was obviously no exception to that rule. So congratulations to everyone. It really ends that part of our academic year, and with all the congratulations to all our outstanding people that made it such an outstanding year. Thank you.
But I'm not going to give any report in the interest of time. Next agenda item is 12.1, 12.2, and 12.3, which gives our union presidents an opportunity to talk. I don't see any of them here, so we'll move right on to 13.1, which is the opportunity for board members to request reports for future board agendas. Then on to 14.1, public comments on non-agenda items. We have one. Mr. Boland, you have an hour. Oh. We're going to go to our Superintendent President stand-in.
Trustee President Otto, I would be willing to come back if you'd let me speak first at the next meeting.
Done.
Thank you.
Luann Bynum? In a speaking session. Pardon?
Can we do that?
Yes.
Great, good
Yeah,
idea.
and
By the way, I just did want to say, the voters have spoken. Now we have to all get back together and do what America does best and do what's best for students, best for the college. We may disagree on certain procedures, but that again is what America's built on. Other countries have revolutions, we have elections. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Vice President Bynum?
Thank you, President Otto. This is probably a little redundant, but I did want to be able to say, and this is on behalf of President Oakley as well, that the team did an incredible job on both the Hillary Clinton visit and commencement. The visit came, we found out Thursday afternoon, before Monday when she arrived, that this was going to happen. Everybody was here all weekend, late into the night. We had the bond vote on Tuesday. The college and all the staff that had been supporting the bond had been up every night after work, taking time off from work to be able to make phone calls. We had the students here doing finals. We had student activities through student services at the end of the year, and then Thursday it was graduation. And it was an incredible Herculean effort, and I think it just speaks to the high quality and the high performance of everybody in the staff. Commencement was a little bit different. That was a little harder to do, but it went off beautifully. So thank you for allowing me to be able to just make that statement.
Thanks, you bet. Okay, we are about to adjourn to a second closed session. It's agenda item 15.1. It regards personnel pursuant to Government Code Section 54957B1, Public Employee Evaluation of the Superintendent. President, it's the annual performance evaluation. And so we are going to adjourn to closed session, but then we will come out. All City College employees are expected to be here when we come back.